Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Himayatullah Khan, and now I am going to discuss one-way analysis of variance, which is also a parametric test, and this is the last one in the series of parametric tests for quantitative variables. Uh, Let me tell you that under independent sample t-test, we basically compared the means of two different groups. For example, we compared the average salary of the male with the average salary of the females, and we did that under independent sample t-test. But if we have more than two categories, like job categories, there are clerical staff, there is custodial category, and then there is managerial category. Then in that case, if you want to compare the average current salary of the clerical staff with the average current salary of custodial and the average current salary of custodial versus manager, in that case we will use one way analysis of variance. So let me tell you that the null hypothesis is that the mean of group 1 is equal to the mean of group 2 is equal to the mean of group 3, and the alternative hypothesis is that at least one mean is not equal to the other means. There is at least one mean which is different than the other two means. So we say uh, all all means are not equal to each other, right? Each other. Alpha are the level of significance. Level of significance is 0.05. Test statistic is now ANOVA, one-way ANOVA. ANOVA stands for analysis of variance, and then there is computation. We will use SPSS for computing purpose, and the last step in the testing of hypothesis of one-way ANOVA is excuse me, decision rule. And under decision rule, if the observed p is less than the 5%, in that case we will reject null hypothesis, and if the p value is greater than the 5%, in that case we will fail to reject this, and then we will say that all the means are the same. So now let me analyze same variable, that is current salary, but this time I will not use gender as a categorical variable, because gender has only two categories. Since I am computing analysis of variance, so in that case I will use some other categorical variables which have more than two categories, and that will be job category. Under job category, I can see that it has three categories, probably. Yes, let me see it. Yeah, one is for clerical, two is for custodial, and three is for manager, and zero stands for missing value. Since there is no missing value, so this is not meaningful. So I can compare the current salary of the clerical versus custodial versus manager. So how can I do that? Analyze, compare means, ANOVA, and my variable is current salary. This time I am using employment category here, and let me press OK. And when I press OK, SPSS computes for me analysis of variance table, and this table basically is based on F-test. This is the variable of analysis, and here you see row 1 shows between groups, that is the difference between various groups, clerical, custodial, and managerial. Within groups, that is within clerks, within custodial staff, within managers, and this is total variation. So I'm just interested in this one because I'm going to see whether there is any difference between the current average salary of clerical versus current average salary of custodial and the current average salary of the manager. So I would look at the F value. The higher the F value, the lower the significance value. Since this F value is very much high, so we have low probability value. So this p value of 0.000 is less than 5%. So we will reject our null hypothesis. Our null hypothesis is that there is a that the average salary of clerks, the average salary of custodial staff, and the average salary of managerial staff is the same. So when we reject this, then it will mean that the average salaries of these three different categories is not the same, they are different. So how can we be sure that these three are different? For that, I'll go back to my data and analyze. I'll repeat and go to ANOVA, and under ANOVA, my variable of analysis is current salary. It's here, and this is the employment category. Now this time I will click post hoc, and under post hoc I will check LSD, least significant difference, and the significance value is 0.05. I told you this is the predetermined level of significance. I will continue, and after continue I will press OK, and after pressing OK, SPSS computed this value for me. This is again the same table that I just discussed, and now this is the multiple comparison table. I have three categories. So first I would like to compare the average salary of clerical staff with the average salary of custodial staff, and for this group the significance is 0.126. Now this p value is greater than 5%. So when this is greater than 5%, then it means that the mean of the current salary of the clerks and the mean of the current salary of custodial staff, they are the same. It means there is no significant difference between the average current salary of clerical staff and average current salary of custodial staff. But coming to clerical versus managers, this p value is much less than 5%. So it means that we will reject null hypothesis, and we will conclude that the average current salary of clerical staff and the average current salary of managerial staff is not the same, they are different. Now there is another group, that is custodian versus manager, and its p value is also less than the 5%. So we also conclude that the average salaries of the managers and the average salaries of the custodial staff are quite different. So this is how we can use a analysis of variance for comparing the various group means. And in this particular case, we compared the average salary of clerical staff with the average current salary of custodial staff, and then the clerical staff versus the average current salary of managerial staff, and then the average current salary of custodial staff with the average current salary of the managerial staff. So out of the three groups, the two categories, that is clerical and custodial, there is no significant difference between their current salaries. But for the other two groups, that is clerical and manager, there is a significant difference in the mean based on this p value. And then the custodial versus manager, there is also a significant difference between the current salaries of the custodial versus the managerial staffs. Hope you could understand this, and thank you very much for being with me. And in my other videos, I will discuss non-parametric tests.